Thanks for joining us for another edition of Religious Hard Talk. I'm Ian Boyne. We introduce you to yet another new religious movement, the Gathering of Christ Church. The name sounds orthodox enough, sounds like a regular church. But a regular church it is not. This church is part of what is called the Hebrew Israelite movement. That's an important movement for you to know about. It is a movement that believes that black people, not even all black people, but, blacks among some other ethnic groups are the real Israelites. It's not the people who are in the Middle East. Those people are imposters. It's people like us who are the real Israelites. And the Bible has a lot to say about us. This is a group that keeps the Sabbath, that keeps the Old Testament feast days, that also keeps the law of circumcision, that practices the purification laws, has a strong connection with the Old Testament, but believes in Jesus Christ as the Messiah. And unlike a number of groups in the Hebrew Israelite movement that say that the white man is the devil and that their mission is only to Hebrew Israelites, meaning, black and other minority ethnic groups, the Gathering of Christ teaches that God is for all races, that all races can be a part of the kingdom. So they differ from a number of the more radical groups in the Hebrew Israelite movement. The Gathering of Christ Church. We introduce you to that movement today. There is a group that is meeting in Jamaica, and I'm sure many of you will find the views fascinating. Some of you don't like when I bring on these so-called weird groups. You say, why, does Ian Boyne keep on, carrying these, out of the box, mad people? It is important to know the variety of ideas that are there. It is important to know what people believe, what attracts people to unusual groups, unorthodox groups. Religious Hard Talk is an important source of information on comparative religions. So you don't have to agree with the group, but at least expand your knowledge of religious groups. We thank you for your company. Today we have with us Officer Mashal. Beside him is Captain Tazar. And right beside me here is Elder Gaja, who actually was introduced to the movement while he was in England, while he was doing broadcasting there, and met the founder of the church. Gentlemen, good to have you on the program. Elder Gaja,
sir,
what would you say is the evidence? What's the cumulative evidence that black people and some of the other ethnic groups, you can name them, are the real Israelites?
Well, first and foremost,
so you come with a lot of books, here, man, and all kinds of, things to do with history.
First and foremost, we say our praises to the Most High and Christ. My brother, thank you for having us on your program. And to answer your question, plain and simple, is the Bible. The Bible is the primary source of the knowledge of who the children of Israel are, according to history, according to archaeology, I can read a couple of precepts here that will bring it out in a nutshell as to into a decisive point what it is.
And you're a man who has visited Africa. You've been to several countries in Africa.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about the countries you've visited. Yeah.
Well, like I said, when I first came into the knowledge of that, we are part of the diaspora of Israel, scattered, suffering the curses. One of my first trip was to go and look at where we came from. Oh. So I went into Africa. This wasn't my first time there, but it was my first time going with the knowledge. So I went there and everything started to make sense because, all right, if anybody who has ever been to Africa, right, Africa isn't a country. Africa is a continent.
Yes.
And when you look at how vast the land mass is, like I remember we drove from Gambia into Senegal, and we were in the bush for 8 hours doing 80 miles an hour on bush road, and we were still in the bush. You understand me? And I looked at the people and I was like, there's no way these people could have been taken down by some guys who came on boats had there not been a divine intervention. And I said that before I came to the knowledge of the truth. So going back now with the knowledge that, okay, it was a curse on them why they got, yes. Then I realized that, yes, it makes sense now, because nothing else ever makes sense. And when you think about it, Jamaica, from south coast of Jamaica, from Kingston Harbor, right? If you was to walk in a straight line from Kingston Harbor to the north coast, it's only maximum, what, 40, 50 miles? You with me? When you had British soldiers coming here, they got dysentery and they died from going through just Jamaica bush. They couldn't manage the little maroons and that were in the hills. Never mind going into Africa and taking the people them down there. Something divine.
But remember, we sold our own people in it, and that's them go.
Well, I mean, even so, even if we were sold by the other nations, right? Something spiritual would have to happen why the people wasn't able to fight back. When you look at a 100-meter final right now, anywhere, it's all black men. We are the white men, so we are the fastest, strongest, most intelligent people on the planet. How is it that they were able to take us down? What happened? It had to be divine intervention.
So we're under curse?
Yes.
Because we broke the laws?
Broke the laws. According to the Bible, would serve our enemies for disobeying God's laws. It so happened, it said that we'll have yokes of irons around our necks. It happened. It said that we'll be taken away in ships. It happened. We will be sold and, sold. You with me? Sold to Mr. Williams, sold to Mr. Brown, sold to Mr. Campbell. You understand me? And check it out. The people them that did this were Jewish people, Jewish people that owned the ships. So you have to tell me in the Bible now, if the Bible was meant for them, where in the Bible does it say that they would sell slaves and all that? Where? It doesn't.
So you go to Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy,
which talks about...
Even Christ says it. Christ tells you. As a matter of fact, get that from
So we want trace it to black people, to people of African descent and so on.
First let's get that, all right? In 70 AD, and it's a book you can check out, Rudolph R. Windsor.
Yes.
You're familiar with this.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
he documents the migration of the destruction of Jerusalem, where the Africans, or the so-called, the Jews, migrated from Jerusalem into the Atlas Mountains, and then made them way down into what we call sub-Saharan Africa right now. And for a better word, they colonized it. And the rivers, and the Niger Bank River, for over 1,000 years, exported nothing but knowledge, books, education. You with me? They built the temples of Timbuktu. You understand? For over 1,000 years. They wear fringes, they bury the dead in the same customs as the biblical, they keep the Sabbath, all of that. You understand? Now, that's one source. Here's another one here. And I'm going outside of the Bible for a minute. This is Hebrewisms in West Africa by Joseph J. Williams, that went and lived in Ghana and parts of West Africa and studied that there were Hebrew customs there for the people. In Nigeria today, you have the people them called the Igbos, Biafra. All of these people know that they're the Israelites. You have the Lemba down in Zimbabwe. So the culture is there. You with me? The culture is right there now. It's just we have not been taught that history. So go into the Bible now. The Bible says this. Get me Deuteronomy 28 and let's go to verse 15. Let's speed it up for the for the purpose of time.
So we can find it quick.
All right?
Deuteronomy chapter 28.
28 verse 15.
28 verse 15.
And then jump down to verse 47 after you read that. Come on.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So the Bible says it will come to pass. That means it's going to happen. If you're not going to listen to the voice of God, go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Some of the commandments.
All his commandments.
Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Go on.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So all these curses are going to come upon you and overtake you. And for the purpose of time, listeners or viewers, you can go and read them for yourself. Jump down to verse 47.
Verse 47, in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Serve thy enemies, go on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger.
Hunger, so you want food?
The black people.
You have to go to your enemies for it. Come on.
And in thirst.
Thirst, come on.
And in nakedness.
Clothing. I mean, how many people right now own farms where they're producing their own food? Most of our stuff are imported here. You understand me? We have to pay for water. Read.
And in want of all things.
Some things.
All things.
So everything we need. I mean, look, Usain Bolt, they built the London Olympics on Usain Bolt. And how many people could have gone to the embassy and got visas to go watch him run? You understand me? I mean, and the list goes.
We are not the only oppressed peoples. You're oppressed peoples in Asia.
No, I'm not saying we are the only oppressed. I'm saying we're the only one that fit these curses.
We are the only.
Yes.
Yes.
Because don't get me wrong, there's been oppression on people, you know, sporadically in sectors and groups, but never has it been on a nation of people. So